and welcome to the Buttcast. What episode number this is yet to be determined, but today we have a very special guest.
Hello, my name is Amro. I go by Waggles. I'm a casual Yu-Gi-Oh player.
Mm-hmm. I like the admission.
I have tried to go into competitive, but I don't think I have the chops for it personally. Mm-hmm. Too many cards to remember, and I always forget my own effects.
I think that's a pretty good reason. There's kind of a little joke here where, like, everyone who we brought on called themselves semi-competitive.
No, I am just straight up casual. I am not even semi.
I appreciate the honesty, and if I'm being honest, I think I'm probably somewhere in a similar sphere. Although, you know, I play a variant of tier these days. But anyway, so a couple things you're known for in the group.
I am?
The first one is that you are the agent player.
I literally only play agents, and then the one time where they hosted the tournament here, I made the Fluendaries deck. And that was fun, but then I immediately went back to agents, because agents is just way more entertaining for me.
Is there any particular reason you started playing agents?
Agents was my very first structure deck that I ever bought. Like, my sister told me, like, hey, we're at the store, I got paid, I have money, pick a thing you want. And I saw Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, Lost Sanctuary, or I forgot what the structure deck was called. I was like, I want that. I want that. And I opened it, and I was like, wow, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, I haven't played Yu-Gi-Oh! In, like, forever. Because I grew up in the Middle East. So, Yu-Gi-Oh! Over there was up to 5Ds, and then post that, we never had it again.
Interesting.
It stopped airing on TV. Like Zexal, I don't even think we got 2 seasons of the 5Ds ones. We only got the very first season, and then we never got it again.
Interesting.
Yeah. So whenever I went to the store, I would see Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. I'm like, I don't know what that is. I only saw up to GX.
Oh. That is interesting. But you saw Yu-Gi-Oh! And you're like, I know Yu-Gi-Oh!
I know this. I haven't dabbled in this in forever. And that was like, that was back in like, when I was 15. Mm-hmm. Like, I got that back in, and that threw me into the Yu-Gi-Oh! Craze once again.
Well, when did the first craze begin?
First craze was when Yu-Gi-Oh! Came out, period. Like, when Yu-Gi-Oh! Launched, like, with Duel Monsters and, like, Dark Magician, all that stuff, that was when I got into Yu-Gi-Oh! I was get up early in the morning, watch the anime, be like, and then I would, like, whatever cards I have, I would, like, sprawl them across the carpet. And then if they air, I would flip them face down. I'm like, that's the card he played. I would flip that.
What? So you had this own little game with yourself?
Yeah, so I had a little game with myself. I was like, I had a bunch of cards, and then I would spread them across the carpet. And then if Yugi or whoever he's playing, Pegasus, whoever, plays that card, I would flip that card face down. So at the end of the episode, I just go over everything they play. It's like, oh, this does this, this, this. And like, oh, they lied. That doesn't do that. Like, that kind of thing.
The classic experience. They lied.
They lied. Because I was playing one game against one of my friends, and Pegasus used a card to look at Kaiba's hand and steal the blue eyes. Or like, he would I would call a card in your hand, and if I got it right, it comes to me. And I never understood how that works, so I just told my friends, like, hey, if I know what card is in your hand, I just take it. Which, me cheating really hard, as a kid. Even my friend was like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I saw it on the show. It has to be true.
It has to be true. Yeah, there are a lot of funny examples. A lot of us did some. I'm always ashamed of how long I was cheating without knowing it.
Oh, what did you used to do?
Well, I would just read the cards, and then just not understanding PSAT. I would just assume they did something. Like I would argue, and I was fairly articulate, so I was pretty good at arguing about what I thought the card did.
You're that nerd kid who always knows how to say things.
Better than the other nerds who played Yu-Gi-Oh, yes.
Oh.
Among the Yu-Gi-Oh people, I was pretty good at arguing.
How old were you when you were cheating? Like that?
Probably all the way up through, freshman year.
Oh.
Well, it's some of it is stuff that people still do today, where they read a card and they don't understand rulings very well.
Oh, yeah.
So I remember one that's stuck in my mind forever, and I apologize to whoever it was I was doing this with, where it was Cowboy, right?
Okay.
Gaga Cowboy.
Gaga Cowboy, yeah.
A very well-known card in the community now.
Yeah.
Well, probably from forever ago, but I wasn't fully aware of it.
Its impact still remains.
Yeah.
I would say. People
Cowboy
still
for
know.
game. But at the time, I wasn't really aware, but someone played it, and its effect is, in defense position, you detach materials, burn 800.
Yep.
And in attack position, it boosts itself by a certain amount during damage calc. And us not understanding battle phase, I was like, well, the second effect does burn damage, and the first effect boosts the attack by more than the burn damage. So why would you ever summon it in defense position unless the attack boost only does damage? It doesn't actually boost the attack.
It boosts the burn?
Like, it would boost the battle damage, but not the actual attack. Because it's in damage calc. What else could damage calc be than when you take damage? So he doesn't actually boost his attack points. He just boosts the amount of damage he does. I feel so bad.
I mean,
in hindsight, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
Did you ever do the battle scene rule where, did you guys ever do I beat you, so now I take your rarest monster? Did you guys ever do that?
I think I got into it late enough that we weren't. I don't know. This is a little tidbit about me. Is I have a bad habit of thinking, especially because if you look at pictures of me when I was like a kid, I look exactly the same.
Okay.
Like, I have looked exactly the same, like, my entire life, unironically. Like, just, he got taller and maybe a little less chubby every iteration. Like, literally, it's the exact same person. Like, you can look at a picture of me as, like, a pre-kindergartner, and you're like, that's him. That's Buck. I know exactly who this is. He looks exactly the same. But because I also have this weird thing where it's like, I look back at past versions of me, and I kind of remember them like I was more similar to I am now than I was. And so I'll look back at something and I'll be like, either I'll think, this happened so far in the past because I feel like I have been me since like middle school. So if I see something that's like weird, like some mistake I made or something dumb, I think to myself, that must have been like elementary school.
Oh, yeah.
Or if I see something, I'm like, oh yeah, that happened recently. That seems like kind of smart. I'm like, no, that happened forever ago, whatever. So stuff like that, it's like, I feel like I got into Yu-Gi-Oh! At an older age because I remember it pretty well. But I know when I did, it also feels like I got into it forever ago. I don't know. Feelings.
I get what you mean. Like, this is more for like an existential question. Or like, do you ever think about like, when did I actually gain consciousness to myself? You know? You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
Like,
it's for me. It's like my memories don't have like a time associated with them. I don't know how normal that is.
I'm very bad with like time recalling. Like, like this happened when I was like
this age. Yeah.
This age, but like, how long ago was like what year was that? How old was I when I was that age? Like,
I remember sequence of events.
Yes.
I don't remember when those sequence of events happened.
Yep.
But even then, if it's anything before I turned 10, I don't remember enough sequence of events to string them together. It's just like, I don't even remember what order they took place in.
It's just, these things have happened.
Yes.
I know that these things have happened. When exactly have they happened? That's irrelevant now.
Even what age.
Yeah, like that.
Even which one came before which. Before the age of 10, that's completely lost on me.
Yeah, no, that doesn't matter.
So it kind of feels like I didn't have like a very strong stream of consciousness.
Yeah, that's because I think I was like conscious when I was 14, but
that seems.
What happened when I was 14? Like, I don't know.
I have some core memories.
Core memory unlocked.
Anyway, I feel like I completely derailed this, but I think
I derailed that with that question, but
I think the cowboy example, I'm pretty sure that was high school, where I cheated with that. I didn't really start playing. I think the first time I ever got cards was middle school. I think that would be like sixth grade, and it was the Atlantean structure deck.
Oh.
And then I very quickly after that I got the Dragoonity structure deck, but I got it and I thought it was new. It turns out it was old. It was like years old when I got it, which is bizarre.
That was me with the 5Ds deck, because when I got into the Agents structure deck, Zexal has already finished.
Oh.
We're entering, or Zexal is close to finishing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I am way back here, like playing a 5Ds deck.
Yeah.
In an era with Xyz summoning, which I didn't know what the heck that was.
I got my. I don't even remember when the Atlantean structure deck was. What era? I think it was early Xyz area that it was printed. I don't remember though.
I cannot confirm or
I do not remember. Anyway, but yeah, that brings up a different question, because I was surprised that a product nowadays, if you saw a product on the shelf that was years old, you'd think something had gone like horribly wrong.
Yeah,
like you'd be like, what happened? Because if you bought a several-year-old product and tried to bring it to your locals or something, people are like, where did you find this?
Why did you get this?
How did you get this? Whereas like back then, it's just still on the shelves.
It's like nobody bought it, because Yu-Gi-Oh! After the initial craze in the Middle East, it just kind of died out. It got replaced by Bakugan, Beyblade,
That kind of happened here, too.
Bakugan took the world by storm when that first came out.
So that's something that I think we want to talk about. Something interesting is Middle East specifically, because, of course, us Westerners have almost zero idea of what y'all's community was like over there.
So, when the community was, going, when I got into Yu-Gi-Oh! With Agents, I was high school, so nobody played Yu-Gi-Oh! Anymore. Until I went to college in the Middle East, I met a community of couple players that actually have their own little mini tournaments together. It's a bunch maybe 10 people maximum. Does not go over 10.
Yeah.
And they were teaching me oh, this is Xyz summoning and this is pendulum summoning. This is new. I was like, what? You summon 4, 5 monsters immediately, and these go to your extra deck? I'm like mind completely blown. And they would play stuff what do they play? I remember the guy the most. He taught me counter fairies, Herald of Perfection, but whatever version was before that. Ultimateness.
Oh, okay.
Or no, was it Perfection or Ultimateness? That's just a sphere with just stubby legs and arms.
You mean the level 6?
The level 6 one, not
That's Perfection.
Yeah, not the gigantic one.
Yeah, the ultimate is the really big one.
Yeah, so he was playing Perfection. He was showing me, so you just stop the enemy from playing the game?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I'm like, I like this.
That's really funny.
I want to do this.
Because that's a locals legend sort of deck.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean by that?
Because it's not competitive.
No, but there's going to be one guy.
He's going
to open the combo, and he's going to have 6 fairies in hand, playing with that, and you're just I literally can't do anything.
I know. It's hilarious, but that opened my world to counter fairies, which then, when I came to the States, that was the first deck I made here, because now resources are way more available for me. I made Bountiful Artemis, Arknight Parshath, those guys.
Yeah.
That was pretty fun. But I think for me personally, I found the most entertaining part of Yu-Gi-Oh! To be in the video games.
Okay.
Which is what I played the most.
Yeah.
I have the 2 decks. I had the 2 decks, and then I would just play video games.
Yeah.
Tag Force 1 on PS2, I played that game night and day. And then Tag Force 3 on the PSP, I played that a lot. On PS1, I played Forbidden Memories. On the DS, I played Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Champ 2005, I think it was called. Don't remember exactly.
All of them. You just play all of them.
I was just, done with that one game, I would go play the other one.
Yeah.
In no specific order.
Yeah.
So, when I went to play one of the Game Boy Advance games, I was like, oh my god, you get to fight Bakura, Yugi, Joey, Taya, and Tristan. That's so many people. But they had bad decks. And they give you a super bad deck too. The only way to get packs is to beat their bad decks.
Yeah.
But I think personally, my absolute favorite Yu-Gi-Oh game to have played was one of the PC games, which is Yu-Gi-Oh! Kaiba the Revenge.
Never heard of it.
It is a PC game where you go only against Kaiba. Mm-hmm. And you can either fight him in singles or a match. And depending if you win a single, you get 1 card. And if you win a match, you get 3 cards.
Yeah.
And you start off with this really, really mishmash of bad cards. Uh-huh. But Kaiba starts with a really bad deck either. Okay. The more you win, the more advanced Kaiba's deck becomes.
Oh.
And he doesn't have one strategy. Kaiba has, from what I've experienced, 3 different strategies.
Yeah.
One of them is literally to mill you. He has a mill deck. Uh-huh. Which is so bizarre.
That is bizarre.
And then one is to summon Ultimate Dragon, of course, is Kaiba. That's his boss monster. Mm-hmm. And then a third one is just to, like, megamorph his stuff. Because that card was not banned in that game at that time.
That's really interesting. Because usually it's like, of course, everyone knows Blue Eyes is the theme for Kaiba. Some people associate, what was it? I'm pretty sure he played some of the Machine, like XYZ Dragon Cannon stuff.
Was that him or was that Chaz?
I know Chaz also did. I feel like there was a small theme. Maybe I'm misremembering. I was not super... I don't know, it's weird. Because as a kid, I remember religiously watching...
He did. He played that against Yugi in the semifinals of the Battle City tournament.
Okay, I'm not sure about
that. He did use those during that game. Mm-hmm. That was also a really good duel for the anime, to be honest. I'm a pretty big anime watcher on the Yu-Gi-Oh!
I think I'm a weird one, because I'm not. Even though, again, as a kid, I think I watched it pretty religiously. Every time I look back on it, I'm like, I don't know, it's like I look back at that like a childhood obsession. Like wow, ain't it weird that I liked this as a kid? Sort of thing.
I mean, I just finished rewatching Duel Monsters last month. Mm-hmm. And I thought like, man, this show honestly still holds up. Honestly speaking.
I have had the opposite experience.
Well,
I think I've realized I just hate card game shows. In general?
They're really, like, obviously, like, they're stacking the decks. Every single one of the people is stacking their deck in those shows.
That's part of it. There's so much to unpack here. Obviously, they're stacking their deck. They're also just cheating.
Absolutely.
Every time. The cards make no sense. I remember once I was rewatching 5Ds because I'd been told, that's the one I remember the most. Mm-hmm. It's 5Ds, and I've been told it's actually kind of good on rewatch, so I gave it a shot.
Yeah.
And I remember, what's her name? Akiza?
Akiza, yeah. The Rose Dragon.
Yes. She used some card, and that can't exist. That's so busted.
There are anime-only cards.
I looked it up, and I was like, I found it, and I was like, what? And then it was like, only in the anime. I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Like, there's... in a way, I was happy. I was like, that I'd recognized that this card would be way too busted to print.
Like, Card of Demise. Oh, Card of Demise in the anime is draw 6 cards.
Something ridiculous like that, yeah.
Well, in the game, it's just draw 3.
Yeah.
Or draw until you have 3.
Yes, and also has a bunch of heavy...
Like, discard your hand, which is, balanced, I think.
I mean, it's still got limited. It was so good.
It's insanely good, because if you can use your hand immediately after you draw those 3 cards, you just do whatever you want, and then use it again, draw 3 more.
Yep.
Which is insane.
That was crazy. That's a crazy strong card, and it was nerfed so much. Mm-hmm. There was one, what is it, like... There's one bonkers card that in the anime let you draw 5 cards, and then did some other stuff. It was just another card like
Mirage of Nightmares? What was it called?
Not Mirage of Nightmares. No, Mirage of Nightmares is a crazy card. That's banned.
It is a crazy card, especially in the anime where they use it absolutely right. Where they would basically use it, get their draws, and then use emergency provisions.
Yeah.
To get it out of the way and get 1,000 life points.
Wasn't that a GX card?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I thought I remembered that.
Yeah, that is absolutely a GX card. But there's also some anime cards so the Atlantis people, the Australian dude, had his mech armor pieces You ever see those?
No.
Basically, this dude, his entire deck is that his monster's equipped to himself.
Interesting.
And then he goes and punches Joey in the face during their duel.
Okay.
And then Joey, do you know the Lord of Red ritual monster?
Yeah.
That's where that came from.
Wait,
Joey equipped a Red Eyes Black Dragon armor to himself and then started just like punching each other.
Interesting.
It's now a brawl fight.
Uh-huh.
Which I thought was the coolest thing ever.
That sounds pretty funny.
It's hilarious.
That brings me to a question. I know a lot of regions get the anime late.
Oh, yeah.
Is the Middle East one of them?
I suppose so. I haven't really been, didn't actually pay attention to when things were airing and stuff.
Yeah.
All I know is, I think we were, a little bit behind.
A little bit.
Because we just needed to get our own, because we got our own dub.
Oh.
We got our own, anime dub. And,
I wonder how profitable that was.
Very, because there's multiple, channels that do their own dubbing. So, for my Arabic watchers, MBC3, you know them. Space Tune, you know that too.
Uh-huh.
They will know. They'll know when
I'm sure. I can't remember. I think it's something like the Philippines I'd heard about where they dub everything. Like they've got in-house people for their studio or whatever, and they dub everything.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big part of their culture as well. That's part of it.
You know how you get your own localization? Mm-hmm. Where you get, terms like the hamburger, the rice ball is now a hamburger,
yeah.
you know?
Uh-huh. The chili donut.
We got our own kind of thing. Uh-huh. Where, depending on the channel and who's dubbing the show, it's now overtly religious. For no reason.
Interesting.
There's
Ash Custom's for Allah.
Something like that. As cheesy as it is. So there's an anime called Case Closed. It's one of the longest anime running.
The detective one?
Yes, the detective one.
Detective Conan.
So we got 2 dubbings of that one. We got one that was really, really good. That did the anime honestly justice. And then we got a second one that was really, really bad. That was just he killed him because he didn't believe in God and stuff like that. It was just nonsense. It was just hilarious.
That does sound funny.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Didn't really suffer from that, except when they start mentioning the Egyptian gods. Because now that's a god. Mm. So now you gotta change what it is.
Yeah.
Because, there's not God but Allah, essentially.
Yeah.
I forgot what they called them, but I had a bootleg Yu-Gi-Oh! Card.
That had it written
That had written, because of its satanic power, I'm now paraphrasing, because of its satanic powers, it lives in, hell and stuff. And my mom saw that card and lost her mind. She was like, throw Yu-Gi-Oh! Out. No more Yu-Gi-Oh! In this house. This is blasphemy and stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Was that more? I know, because even here in the West, there was we had what was it, the 6th? When was it? There was a big deal about the anti-demonic. There was a whole movement against that sort of stuff that happened in the U.S.
Oh, I've heard about something similar to that. Later in my life, I've heard about something like that.
I know that happened here, which a lot of card games and D&D specifically had a lot of trouble with, and it kind of carried over into modern day, where there was some holdout individuals who would get really fussy if something was demonic or whatever. Is that because in theory the Middle East is even more religious,
overtly more religious than what it is here in the West?
So is it worse or?
Honestly, I don't think Yu-Gi-Oh! Got that backlash. But what got the backlash was Pokemon.
Really?
Yes, because it was teaching evolution, essentially.
Oh, that's interesting.
And the people that take this the most far are Egyptian people. This is a blanket statement. This is not this is a generalization.
Okay.
I'm just saying this. Where in Egypt, there was a rumor going around that Pikachu meant I am a Zionist. Obscure, weird. Why would that be?
Okay.
Why would that be the case? But people picked up on it and were like, no more Pokemon. But that was essentially just about Egypt. Saudi Arabia, where I was raised, nobody really cared. Which is funny.
Very curious.
That's just really interesting.
That is so odd. But also, it's kind of funny because obviously, Pokemon pretends to be like evolution,
It's
makes
make
zero
believe.
sense
It's not real evolution.
at all. Well, obviously, a little science tidbit.
Yeah.
It was believed for a while that animals would have a desire for something.
Oh, yeah.
And then in the next generation, they would just be born like that. Like, there was a theory that the reason why giraffes had long necks is because an animal would be like, man, I wish my neck was longer. So I could reach this food.
That's Lamar's giraffe. That's Lamar's giraffe. That's his hypothesis. His hypothesis was that this is now real science.
Mm-hmm.
His hypothesis because the giraffe wanted to get to the higher thing, it grew its neck longer, and then it kept growing, and then like its babies kept the long neck, and then it kept going. But then everyone was like, "That's not how genetics work. Like you can't pass."
Yeah,
like
they figured out that that's not a thing.
Exactly. Like it's just like people now make fun of it, but you know it's interesting.
But it's kind of like the Pokemon model.
Exactly.
Is that they're like, man, I wish I was stronger, and then they became stronger.
I am now Raichu.
But for some reason, if they have a baby, it goes back.
I mean,
that just doesn't make any. Even if we were trying to pretend that is a model for this evolution theory, it doesn't make any sense that the baby would go back.
I think we can agree that Pokemon isn't the most scientifically accurate. I'm just gonna point this out. I don't know. I feel like I'm in the minority here. I don't think Pokemon's really.
Here's a good time for me to put in a little tidbit.
Oh yeah.
That I'm addressing now my audience specifically, and you can listen if you want.
Oh. I was about to cover my ears.
Oh yeah. I think too much. That is the simple explanation I'm going to give. I think too much. I've said some whack stuff on this podcast, and I've asked people some questions that I probably shouldn't have asked because it is uncomfortable or weird. But I am a person where every now and again something will just catch my attention, and then I'll just think about it too much. And the problem is that I don't really have a good filter on what to and not to let my mind think about. Mm-hmm. So it's like we just had this little conversation about the Pokemon making sense, and now my brain is absolutely gobbling up all of the comparisons and thinking about how dumb it is and how but sometimes when Pokemon have kids, they make an even less evolved version of themselves.
Well, if you think about it, some Pokemon like Kangaskhan. You would breed like a Kangaskhan in the game, and they're born with another baby with them already.
Yeah.
Like, where did this baby come from?
And sometimes,
or like Cubons, when you would breed a Cubon, he's already born with his mother's skull.
Yeah. Which is like, huh?
How did
I still have this other Cubone, and it's alive.
I still have the mother. What happened here?
But and obviously with this example, it's fine. No one questions me thinking about this. Everyone's like, maybe he's getting a little too into it, but it's whatever. The problem is when it's something less kosher to think about, like anime girl attractiveness.
Okay.
Or like this is the specific thing I'm addressing here is I brought up the furry index too much.
What's the furry index?
So the idea is, okay, most people think bestiality bad, but cat girl good.
Oh yeah.
And then people like me think, obviously I agree with these two things, but where exactly is the line?
Well, there's the Harkman test.
Oh.
The Harkman test basically is like, okay, it's an animal, but can this animal speak? If yes, is this animal over age? Yes. Can this animal consent? Yes, it has passed the Harkman test. If it fails any of those three, it's bestiality. So like Pokemon, for example, they don't speak. They've already failed the Harkman's test.
Interesting. But Digimon
can speak.
That's
so they potentially can, but not all Digimons are animals.
I find that very interesting because someone else has clearly thought about this.
This is weird.
But I'd also say that guy's weird because for me, I'm like, that's not enough.
That's not enough?
They can't just like, there's this old joke. If your girlfriend asks, if I was a worm, would you still love me?
I know that.
And the joke is you say yes, even though every man in existence actually believes no.
Yeah.
Because she will be mad if you say no, even though obviously you wouldn't love a worm. But it's like, if person you love is put into an animal body, it's an animal body. I'm not interested in animal bodies.
Yes. That's how you know that you're not a furry, I guess. You know what? I think that's a simple way of telling that.
Some cat ears, that can be cute, but like, the more features you add of a cat, the less interested I am.
So you don't like, for example, Renamon?
What is a Renamon?
Renamon? You don't know Renamon from Digimon?
I don't. I'm not much of a Digimon head. I'm not,
oh, okay.
I always thought they
Renamon
were
is essentially like, it's either Angelmon.
How do you spell Renamon?
Oh, let me spell it for you.
Oh, yeah. I'm another little tidbit for my items. I'm dyslexic, so I can't spell, which is also a great excuse.
I'm apparently dyslexic too. I misspelled this completely.
Also, the caps lock probably didn't help.
That's not an issue. Renamon. There we go.
Oh, yeah, that's...
Yeah, this is Renamon.
That was already, like, 10th image down, she's pregnant.
Yeah, wow. Bad. Anyways.
People be weird.
So it's either her or for... isn't this a Yu-Gi-Oh podcast? Have we derailed this?
We can talk about whatever.
Okay.
I have mentioned this before, but for my audience, I'll go ahead and bring it up. It's a Yu-Gi-Oh podcast because I play Yu-Gi-Oh and every person I bring on plays Yu-Gi-Oh. It's not like Yu-Gi-Oh is tangentially related to other things. Like I brought someone on and we talked about other card games.
Yeah.
But no one's like, that's weird, isn't it? A Yu-Gi-Oh podcast?
It's either Renamon or Angelmon, where she is more human.
She's just a human, basically.
It's just a lady with wings. She's just an angel.
Kind of curious what's under the mask, though. Also, is her clothes skin?
No, she has like actual clothing, and then she has skin.
But she digivolves from whatever previous thing.
Do you want to see her previous? Are you curious about what her previous evolution is?
I'm curious where the clothes come from. Is what I'm trying to say.
This just appears.
Of course, magic. I mean,
and this is her previous evolution.
That's disgusting.
That's just a cat.
That's a cat, yeah.
For the audience who don't know what Angelmon's previous evolution is, it's just Gatomon.
A cat. Yeah, that's weird.
It's just cat. But here's the thing with Digimon's evolutions, is sometimes they just stand on two legs and wear pants. For example, you have Garurumon, who is just a super badass looking wolf.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
But then he turned into Were-Garurumon, where he stands up and just wears jeans.
Yeah, that's
and then he becomes a robot. Back on 4.
I mean, I like 1 and 3 here.
You don't like Were-Garurumon?
Not really, no.
Are you not fan of the punk pants?
No, I don't like that there appears to be a skull and crossbone on them.
Oh yeah, he's rock hard.
And he's got like a leather gauntlet on his... What is that? It's like a full sleeve?
Oh, he has, the knuckle.
He's wearing brass knuckles.
Yes.
It looks like, yes. But also he's just wearing, it's not even gloves because it has holes in the fingers. But he's wearing like a leather fingerless glove that goes into a leather
only on one
sleeve.
Arm.
Only on one arm. A sleeve and then like a plate, an armor piece on his shoulder.
And then this is his previous evolution, Gabumon, who is just adorable.
Yeah, this cute little dude.
Digimon's evolution don't make sense.
That's true.
Like, I'll just be honest.
That's a factual statement.
Yeah.
Some of the Pokemon don't either, but...
I mean, Pokemon makes more sense than, Digimon. Because Pokemon, it would go rat, bigger rat, into biggest rat.
There are a couple of weird ones, though.
I mean...
I'm trying to remember some of the... I'm struggling right now, but there are some weird Pokemon evolutions that don't really make a lot of sense. I don't know.
I mean, you have a sunflower that turns into a lady in Digimon. And then it turns into an even bigger lady with bigger breasts.
I'm trying to think of...
And then she becomes, then she goes into burst mode, where she just extremely, becomes, like, superpowered. But with keeping the boobs.
Yes, I think...
Digimon really likes their boobs. I'm just gonna say.
I mean, that's I've also mentioned this before. Just kind of a cheat code anime figured out. That everybody likes boobs. It's just a fact of life.
I mean, so if you're into Digimon, you're either into three things.
Uh-huh.
You're either into the anime-looking ladies,
Mhm.
the furries, or dragons.
Or dragons. Oh,
Look, dragons are their own category.
Safe pick. That's a safe pick.
Dragons are their own category because of how many there are. There's so many dragons in Digimon.
Yeah. But anyway, I find, so to bring it back to what I was saying, I find it interesting, like, okay, this angel lady, clearly attractive, but as soon as you know she used to be a cat, less attractive.
Do you want me to blow your mind some more?
Uh-huh.
The cat used to be a dog.
What? What an evolution, huh?
So it went from a dog to a cat to a lady, and then and then she goes into a dragon. She becomes a dragon at the end.
Interesting.
Let me pull the dragon for you.
So I think I have discovered, although some people I need to be more careful what I talk about with, you are not one of those people.
I am willing to talk about anything because it's entertaining and it's hilarious. This is what the lady turns into. For the audience who don't know, Angelomon turned into Magna Dramon. That's her evolution. It's just a dragon.
Kind of angelic E, but it's just a dragon.
Yes. And there's a dinosaur Digimon that becomes a bigger dinosaur Digimon into an even armored dinosaur Digimon into a dude with a spear.
Wait, what? Like, perfectly normal most of the way, and then just bam.
So you have this guy.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen him before.
Yeah, he's one of the main characters in the third season.
Okay.
And then he turned into...
He's like ratified main character.
Yep. And then he turned into this big guy. Oh, no, hold on. Wait, this is wrong. That's the third one. That's the armored one I'm talking about.
The problem with Digimon is that they make no sense.
And then he turned into this guy, who's just big. Just a big dinosaur.
Just a bigger version. And then the armored version. And then after the armored version, it's just a dude with a spear.
It's just a dude with a spear.
How did that happen?
How did that happen?
That's weird.
So in the show, he fuses with his tamer, with his partner.
Oh.
So they actually share that body in the show.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
It's weird that makes more sense, but it does.
It does. But that's only in the show. Canonically, like in the mangas or whatever, from what my friend told me, that's just how he is.
That's just how he is. That's funny. That's just how he is. What a weird world Digimon is. Anyway, yes. I'd like to just give you a compliment now.
Oh.
You're a very nice person to talk to.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Especially with you being someone from a very different cultural background than myself and other such people around here. It's interesting to talk to you about that stuff, and you never seem to get too sensitive about it or anything.
I only get, not upset. Like, I just think it's, like, in bad taste when they make, like, the obviously, like, really crude joke. You know which one I'm talking about? I'm from the Middle East. I'm Muslim. There's only one joke that should come to mind.
Therefore, you are a terrorist? Is that
yes, essentially. Okay. I never appreciate those jokes.
Okay.
Those jokes are always like...
I mean, your beard isn't nearly long enough.
It can go longer. If I was actually longer, I might be on a no-fly list. I can make those jokes.
Yeah,
I can make those jokes.
That's fair enough. But it was interesting. We had a conversation a while ago about the Arabic language.
Oh yeah, that was a fun one.
To be to cast myself in the worst light possible.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
We were basically just making fun of your language.
Oh yeah, you call it squigglies.
Yeah, because to us it's like, oh, they're squiggly letters. But instead of like being insulted by that at all, you were just excited to teach us about your language. I mean, and that really was not. I really enjoyed that.
A joke is a joke, but at the end of the day, I assume that you actually want to know what the hell is happening.
Yes, I did, and I think you handled that very. I have met people who don't handle jokes very well.
Oh yeah,
about that sort of thing. So it's nice that you, especially the more separation there is between their cultural identity and ours, I generally find that the less you can make jokes about that sort of thing without them being defensive. Whereas you, on the other hand, you are, well, maybe it's because you have spent more time. I don't know. Actually, I have no idea. But anyway.
Essentially because I can tell, like, by the joke and how you're saying it, that it's not meant to be, like, super, like, you're not actually insulting me. Because, like, if you're insulting me, then that's a different situation. Yeah. Like, you're just making a joke for the sake of a joke. And I thought the joke was okay. It was fun. It was okay. Like, could have been better, but it was an okay joke to call my, like, writing, like, our language squigglies, when I know I have seen Americans with handwriting.
Oh my god. Any doctor ever. Yes.
Handwriting that cannot, like,
possibly be understood.
I think my niece writes better than most of you. Who is just true. Learning English.
I have pretty terrible handwriting, personally, as well. It's not really squiggly, it's more crackly, which is arguably worse. Yeah. I think that's part of it, is I recognize when I'm making these jokes that they are cross-applicable, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
That I realize that you could make the same jokes about me, and I'd be cool about that. I don't know. That's interesting. It's interesting talking to people. This is a little tidbit about me. I'm talking. I think you're just so cool and letting me talk so much that I'm accidentally talking about myself too much.
Oh,
is what's happening. But I always think it's cool to talk to people from very different backgrounds. You know, I think it's an important way to understand the world.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I've always been a guy who's...
I mean, would you have ever known that Pikachu used to mean I am a Zionist?
I definitely would not have had that piece of information.
Yeah.
No, I would not. That's a very valuable piece of information.
Yeah, it's like, you can now write about it on your journals and stuff.
But to go ahead and here's another little thing. Just because, in case I ever get famous, which will not happen. But I did get 40 views in a day.
Oh,
that was pretty cool.
40 views, baby.
That was weird. I think there was like a glitch or something.
That's not sure. It can't be possible.
I launched my short story. I launched my website because it made it easier to theoretically get paid by Anchor. Who knows if that'll ever actually happen?
It will.
But after I launched it, I randomly got 40 views, and on my thing it tells me where they came from, and it's the web browser. I'm like, so it's the website. And by the way, if you look at the thing, the most views I've ever gotten a day before then is like 6.
Yeah, is this about the British one?
The British one?
You showed me like where your views came from.
Oh, sorry to my audience who doesn't enjoy the fact that I can know way too much information about you. I have age range information and a bunch of other stuff like that. Oh wow, I jumped up another ton of views. Well, I mean, comparatively to how I usually am. Anyway, but I have a lot of demographics and stuff, and I can pull up now. Some people's countries actually care about their privacy, so I have a lot less information about them. But if you live in Canada or the U.S. or Germany or Brazil, I know where you're from. Sorry to those people who are watching. I know some information about you. I also have a pretty good guess of your age range because I also get that data. And I check this often enough, I can notice when 2 things pop in at the same time. So I notice, this German person popped in and this age range went up suddenly. So I'm pretty sure that there is a German person from this place in this age range that watched one of my episodes, which is weird, but I have that information. Anyway, podcast popped off a little bit, but who knows? I'm pretty sure that's just a artifact of launching the website and not real growth. Doesn't matter. If I ever become big, I want to pre-cancel myself so that I am uncancelable. Does that make sense?
I guess.
So already I'm going to say I support Taiwan. Taiwan, not China.
Oh, okay.
Taiwan, their own people. So now, if ever, I can't ever be tied up in China anymore. They can't ever have power over me because I'm publicly declaring I don't like how
situations being handled.
How China handles Taiwan. I think Taiwan is essentially a sovereign nation. There you go. Bam. I can no longer make any deals with China. Woo! Pre-canceled myself. And now the reason that's the easy pre-canceling stuff because like most people agree with me. But to go back to I talk to people with different backgrounds. Just because I talk to someone, and even if I hang out with someone, does not mean I agree with that person. I spent like 2 years. One of the people I spent the most amount of time with was a guy who would wear his Confederate flag jacket to school to see how long it would take him to get in trouble. That was a funny joke to him.
There was a guy that I knew that would show up every day wearing a cape of the Confederate flag.
Wait, where? Was that here?
Where was at TCC.
Oh, okay.
That is so freaking weird to see him like that. And he was so weird. I don't know. I never liked the guy.
No.
I was never really friends with him. I just always thought he was an odd person.
Yes, they are odd people for sure.
Yeah.
The guy I knew was a former drug dealer.
Cool.
But he was weird. He was a weird guy. That was why he was interesting. He's a weird guy. He's a provocateur. He'll do something weird like wear a Confederate. I don't think he actually like had any Confederate sentiment at all. I think he just did it to upset people. Like also we had a little debate sometimes, and he'd go up there and he'd go swinging for the KKK. Like he'd go up there and people would be like racist and bad, and he's like, the KKK donates this amount of money to charity.
That's so weird.
And he is not racist. Like I know that I've talked to him enough.
Just having that energy.
He's not, but he wants to make people upset, and he knows by acting like he supports racists, it'll make people mad, especially people who are very easy to make mad, like leftists. So he publicly portrayed himself as like this hardcore right winger, like wild, like racist, Confederate, like all this other stuff. You actually talk to the guy. He's got a weird moral system, but it's basically nothing to do with right wing or anything like that. It's just a way for him to make people mad, which he thought was funny.
I just think that's too much work.
I
just think that's too much work just to make people mad.
He was a bizarre fella.
Yeah,
he was weirdly smart though.
I mean,
like academically.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, like people give me anything, honestly.
But I never supported any of those perspectives he put forward. But I understood that he was just making a joke, basically. He would only say things that are true. Like it's true that the KKK donates a pretty large amount of money to charity. But the only reason you mention that is if you're sympathizing with
making
them.
A point.
Yeah. Which, obviously, I do not support the KKK.
Yeah.
I'm canceling myself from being able to work with the KKK.
I was a little worried earlier. I was a little worried, but I'm happy that you're not.
I don't like the KKK. I think they're bad guys.
Are you okay to say that, like on public?
I can no longer work with them anymore, like I have been all this time.
But they won't donate to you then.
No! I've just got taken off the list. Ah, man.
You were right up there.
I was priority, brother. Back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay.
I want to talk about bootleg cards.
Oh, yes, please do.
Okay, so...
is there a higher percentage in the Middle East, do you think?
Oh my god, is there.
Okay.
So, essentially, after school, like right across where we are, there would be two ladies sitting down, and they would have like a bunch of like bootleg stuff.
Okay.
They have bootleg D-Blades, bootleg like water guns, whatever, but they had bootleg Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Okay. And they sold like a big box, like a big 80 card 2 decks. It's 2 decks for 5 reals, which is essentially the equivalent of $1.50 maybe.
Oh wow.
And I remember I would be like, I'm not spending my money at school. I'm not eating today because I'm buying those cards.
Okay.
And I wish I had brought them with me, but I genuinely forgot them.
That's okay.
I'm so sad. I wanted to show you them because some of the cards are so bad. So I have Destiny Hero Dreadmaster. You know that card.
Yeah.
It has the tiniest text on a card I have ever seen. I can't read it.
You need to bust out the magnifying glass?
I have to zoom in to read the card because the text is so tiny. And then you have the level 6 tuner, normal monster, Labrador Dragon. Right. It's a level 6 normal monster that's a tuner.
Okay.
It's called Labrador Dragon.
Uh-huh.
Its name, the card that I own, is Love Rat Eye Dragon.
Love Rat Eye Dragon?
Yes.
That is a name.
That is a cool name. I love that name.
Uh-huh.
But that's not what it's called. So you have Googly Eyes Fat Dragon, which is the like a joke character of another card.
Uh-huh.
But instead, what I have it is as Trashy Eyes Fat Dragon. No, it's Googly Eyes Drum Dragon.
Okay.
Okay, and they changed it into Trashy Eyes Fat Dragon. Which is interesting.
That is interesting. Some interesting
And then
translation there.
the biggest hit to my face was when I bought Yu-Gi-Oh cards. This is back in 2015. I bought these in 2015. I opened them, and I was like, Theo of the Aqua Force. I'm like, oh my god, these cards look awesome. What are they? And so what I do to make sure that the cards are what they say they are is I go to the number at the bottom left. And I Google that number, and it will give me, that's the card ID.
Yeah.
And it will show me what the card is.
Mm-hmm.
Searching these cards gave me nothing. I could not find what these cards are until I decided to just type their name. And that's when I learned that Vanguard was a card game that exists, where some guy took the Vanguard cards, gave them Yu-Gi-Oh effects, and printed them, and sold them for money.
Interesting.
So now I own an actual Vanguard Aqua Force deck, and a Yu-Gi-Oh Aqua Force deck.
That's funny. That's really funny.
Bootlegging is so easy. Because the raw monster that I told you about that had it uses its satanic powers and blah blah, that was a bootleg.
Yeah, obviously.
That was a bootleg. I had a card with infinite attack points.
Oh.
And it had 13 stars.
Oh, that's interesting. 13.
13. And it's its attribute, it just said God.
Oh. No qualm. They had no qualms about calling it a god.
No, apparently not.
That's funny. I'm kind of interested, obviously, it being a third language, because most of us, I imagine they're translating it from Japanese? Or are they grabbing the translation from, a different language and translating it?
No, because some of them would just be in Arabic.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the bootlegs
they'd be in
would
Arabic.
just be in Arabic.
Uh-huh. Yeah, but where did they get the
translations from?
Because it's interesting because for us, us Americans, our bootleg is usually, there are enough Japanese speakers that they or Google Translate, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. That's interesting. I don't know why, but that's an interesting thought to me. Are they bootleg, actually looking to the original Japanese and then converting that to Arabic, or are they looking at other copycats? I feel like there aren't that many people who understand at all Japanese in the Middle East. Maybe that's prejudiced of me.
I have no idea, because some of the art is not the monster of Fake Trap. He has his own card. I forgot what his name is. Do you know the card Fake Trap?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know the ugly purple guy on it? Mm-hmm. He has his own monster. What he's riding? I had a monster that was him that had 10,000 attack points.
Okay.
That thing barely has 100, I think. I don't know.
I don't think it's a real monster, is it?
No, there's a real monster.
Okay.
But it's just weird that they use him as 100, as 10,000 attack points. Uh-huh. So the way that I look at it is that they just take any artwork and just slap stuff on it and just call it a day.
Yeah, so they're just piecing together whatever they can find, really.
Yeah. Like the anime, how Flame Swordsman is a fusion card, but in the anime he's a effect monster.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
So they made it an effect monster?
They made it an effect monster. I had a Flame Swordsman that was just an effect monster. Really weird.
That is really weird. That is interesting. I don't know. I think that kind of stuff's interesting. I don't know. I'm a bit of a logistics brain kind of guy, a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to think of logistically how you go from how their operation makes money, where they're getting their information from.
The money is from stupid kids like me.
Obviously.
Like me. Where I paid $1.50, which is like in Saudi, like $5. Like that's lunch money.
Yeah, what like the spending power of $5, that's like you could buy a meal, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
You buy like a small pizza, like a small like cafeteria pizza. Okay. And like a juice. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Well, is it, I don't know, here's a little, because in America, it's like the lunches are like subsidized, right?
What is subsidized?
Part of it is being paid for by the school. It's not it's not like you're paying the full cost.
Oh yeah, it's the same.
Okay, I imagine so.
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah.
So it's like if you actually wanted to go somewhere and buy like a lunch like that, it'd probably be more than $5.
Oh yeah.
It'd probably be more
because
than
we're kids, we don't have jobs, like you know.
So they have to make quite a few sales to make any real money.
The pizzas ran out because the pizzas were actually really good.
The people selling the knockoff cards.
Oh, those guys
have to make quite a few sales. Because like, what are they printing them on? Is it like playing cards?
Cheap cardboard. Super cheap cardboard.
And it's like, where is that produced? Like,
I don't know. I never thought to ask those ladies.
Like, where do these cards come from?
I don't think
like, Japan.
I don't think 9-10-year-old me ever thought about asking that question.
I'm sorry. This is another me thinking.
I know, but I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't have the answers to the world.
Kind of interesting. It's like, I don't know. Whatever. That topic doesn't matter. I think you had more things to talk about. You want, mention ban list for us as of recording has come out very recently. Okay.
So I play Agents. Agents run 3 Heralds of Orange Light.
Yeah.
Because it's our only like hand trap that we ever use.
Yeah.
It's 9-1 down to 1.
Yep.
There's no need. I mean, I get it. 2 elements, blah, whatever.
You're just the poor rogue.
Why am I getting hit? I kept making the joke for years, like, Agents are gonna get hit, baby. Agents number 1, they're never gonna get hit. Now we got hit. I'm like, damn.
Of all things.
Of all things.
Agents got nerfed.
I'm so upset by that. Cause
such
what, you can't put Kit Kalas at 1? You can't put Kit Kalas at 1?
That wouldn't do anything.
They wouldn't do anything, but it's still like a thing. That's not on me.
Hurt you, yeah.
Put Rhino at 1. Oh, well, Rhino already runs at 1. But I don't know.
No, that's like 3 Rhino Heart usually.
Oh, 3? Okay.
It depends.
I'm not a 2-element player.
No, I know.
I only play one thing. And now I have to play...
Now you have to play 2 less orange lights.
Now I have to play 2 less orange lights.
That's rough. What are you gonna... What is the... I know... So you play Agents. Have you ever thought about playing anything else, or...
Oh yeah, I played other stuff.
I mean, you played Flunder for that one tournament.
I played Flunder. I still like the deck. I played For Hires. I like For Hires.
Okay.
They're a fun deck. Folgo's my favorite Link monster because he's just badass.
Fogo? Oh, the Link 3.
The Link 3. Okay. I just hate the first line of text on his card. Cannot be used as Link material. I always hated that.
Yeah.
Thought that was just the dumbest thing ever.
For Hire just got a lot of support recently, right?
Yeah, we get Donner and Rex. Which, we still like to affect the other. So nice.
I mean, you can play Book of Moon.
Yes, I can play Book
like
of Moon.
Flunder.
I mean, they have their own card that's pretty good, but...
It still is.
Still is. Like, if you don't open it, you're destroyed.
Yeah.
What else? I played Counter Fairies, talk a little bit.
And that's the end of this episode. Listen next week for the rest of the conversation. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.